Hello and welcome to this next Tableau Made Easy video, and more specifically this next video on level of detail and calculated fields. In the last video we did something pretty clever. We used a fixed level of detail expression to lock in the maximum magnitude across all earthquakes in our set, and then we used this to calculate the ratio or percentage of each earthquake compared to the overall maximum. In this video I want us to push on from there and talk about how we could fix our maximum magnitude logic at a specified level of detail, rather than just at the overall dataset level like we've done so far. And to do this, let's make a bit of a change to our view to showcase a scenario where we might need this. So let's drag our location broad variable here onto our rows area, and let's do that in front of our ID variable. And once we do this, we can see that our table is still at earthquake ID level, but we also have this categorization by location broad, and we can see at the top we have Africa and then Asia and so on. Let's say that this split was really important for us or for our stakeholder, and what we really wanted was to see the maximum magnitude not at overall level but by location broad. In other words, instead of 129 as the fixed maximum for all rows or all earthquakes here in that column, we instead want the maximum for Africa for these rows, the maximum for Asia for these rows, and so on and so on. Let's go and make this happen, and you'll be happy to know that we actually discussed how this would happen in the last tutorial. So when we ran through our template for an L.O.D expression, we talked about this here, our dimensions list, which can sit between our type and the colon. For the overall level maximum magnitude that we've calculated so far, we didn't need anything here, so we just left it out. But now we do need it. So back in Tableau, let's head over to the left here and let's click the drop down on our max magnitude fixed calculated field, and then let's go down and click edit. And let's add it in. So in the box in the middle here, after fixed, let's put a space, and then let's specify the level. So we're just going to put location broad here. And with that, we are done. So let's go down and hit apply, and then OK, and there we go. It has done exactly that. And Africa is a good example of this. We can see this in action at the top. We can see from the 10 or so earthquakes that took place in that location, the highest magnitude was indeed 53. So that is what is being used. For Asia, we still have 129, but that is because if you remember, the biggest earthquake in our dataset occurred in the Philippines. So that 129 is actually the maximum for Asia as well. And what is cool is that our ratio variable over on the right there is just using this logic too. So for Africa, our ratios are now using this updated information. So the denominator of that calculation, which is magnitude divided by maximum magnitude, is using that location specific maximum. And on that note, if we go back into our max magnitude field, so let's click the drop down there and then edit. Down the bottom here, Tableau actually provides us information about this. It says, for this fixed maximum that we're calculating, there are some dependencies. In other words, if we change this logic, it may have effects downstream. So if we click where it says two dependencies here, we can see that it tells us any variables that might be affected, and indeed we see our max magnitude ratio variable, and it also tells us any worksheets that might be affected as well. So always important to keep an eye on this when we're changing logic within calculated fields. In our case it worked quite nicely, but there might be times where this causes you massive headaches, so definitely look out for this information provided by Tableau, as it might indeed save your bacon. Cool, so that is how we fix our logic at a specified level. But what if that specified level needed two or more of our variables? For example, both location broad and location. Well, it is actually nice and easy. To show this, let's just close this box here, and then let's add location onto our view. So let's drag that up into the rows section, and let's put that between location broad and ID. And when we do that, we can see that each location broad category is now being split by each country of the location variable. As expected, however, as we've not specified this extra location split in our max magnitude calculated field, we don't see this value change. What I mean is that for all of the African countries, we still have a value for that max magnitude fixed of 53. To make this change, we just need to add it into our dimensions list in our level of detail expression. So let's again click the drop down of our calculated field and then edit. And all we need to do is add location to go along with location broad. So after location broad, let's put a comma and then let's add in location. Once we've done that, let's hit apply and OK. And that change has been made. So for China, within Asia, we have a maximum magnitude of 53. And thus that is what this column now shows us. For India, also within Asia, we now have a maximum of 45 and so on. So that is how you would add an extra level for the calculation to be fixed at. We simply put a comma between each and every variable we need in our dimensions list of our L.O.D expression. And this is super useful to know, especially when dealing with something like sales data, where you might want the level of detail to be at category and subcategory level, for example. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about and show in this tutorial is that using a fixed L.O.D expression type like we've done here means our logic will also ignore any filters that are applied. So to show you what I mean, if I drag our date time variable up onto the filters shelf, and then let's just do a super basic filter for day. So let's select month, day, year, and then next, and then let's just select all, and then OK. And then up on our filters shelf, let's click the drop down there and show filter. And if I just remove all of the dates by clicking the all box here, and then add in a couple from the start. So let's do the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, for example. We can see that for, say, China here, with the date filters applied, we are only seeing earthquakes with magnitudes of 36 and 38. So only earthquakes with those magnitudes took place on those selected dates. So those dates that we put in with our filter. Our maximum logic, however, is ignoring this. We fixed our logic, remember, so it will essentially ignore everything else. So it is still showing 53. The level of detail logic is based upon only the list of dimensions that we pass it. It does not care about what dimensions we are using in our view or visualization, and it does not care about filters. And this is what makes it so very powerful. So there we go. That is a nice high-level introduction to level of detail expressions using calculated fields. They are so powerful and so flexible. You are going to get a lot of value out of them in your career. And trust me, there is so much more we could cover here. But I really just wanted to give you a solid foundation to move forward with so you can confidently take on any tasks you need as you continue to utilize Tableau into the future. Always remember that the Tableau documentation online is extremely comprehensive, as is the community of users looking to help each other out. So you're seldom more than a quick Google away from solving whatever tricky problem you are facing. From here, we're just going to keep pushing on towards our final dashboard, which is extremely exciting. I'm very much looking forward to running through this with you. So as always, I will see you in the next video.